Y'all saw the post about our Unleashed call in my stories earlier this week, and that's what this week's video here is going to be about, is the scripture that we shared in the group on Wednesday night and how powerful that was and the conversation that came out of it. And I think that this is really important because most of you are not reaching the goals that you want to reach, becoming the person that you want to become, becoming the husband or wife that you desire to become, the father or mother that you desire to become, the business owner, the health, whatever it is that you're seeking, because you're holding on to this old version of you. Or you're installing safety nets in every area of your life for the what if this doesn't work. And we shared a couple scriptures in the call on Wednesday. And the first one that we shared was Ephesians. It was 4:22 through 24. And it says, put off your old self, which belongs to the former way of life, and put on the new self, created to be like God. What does that mean? You have to kill the old you. You have to kill your old life and step in to the new version of you. And you have to start living and acting and making decisions as this new version of you, as Nick says a lot, into this greatest and highest version of yourself. That is the person you have to start being and acting like now. What decisions does that person make? What routine does that person have? What does the business look like? What does your marriage look like? How does it look like to parent your kids? How do you dress? And a good example of this was 1 Kings 19 through 21. And this depicts Elisha. He's working in the field and he's plowing with his oxen. And Elijah walks by and he throws this cloak over him and calls him into a new life. And when he did that, Elisha didn't ask God for a sign. He doesn't say, oh man, I need to go run and look at my spreadsheets and analyze all this data. He doesn't say, I need to think about it. And when he did, he burned his plow. He literally burned the plow. He slaughtered his oxen, and then he used the wood from his plow to build a fire and cook meat from his oxen to feed the people. He destroyed the very thing that could pull him back into this old version of himself. There's another great book on this called No Plan B for Your A Game. I've got it back here on my bookshelf. Incredible book. Go buy that book on Amazon and read it. Another really, really great book. But Elisha left himself no backup plan, no safety nets, no plan B. He couldn't even go back to that life if he wanted to, because he killed his oxen and he burned his plow. Sometimes that's what you need to do. It's not about finding the motivation. It's about eliminating all other choices. And I was there myself for a long time in a lot of different areas. In business, yeah, I had the agency going, but in the back of my mind, if it doesn't work, I can always go get a job somewhere. I was there before I had my breakthrough, when we really started to have the hockey stick effect. I had been struggling quite a bit because I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. A lot of you guys know I was working in the agency 6 months out of the year trying to build it, and I was guiding Hunt 6 months out of the year. I never went all in because I was scared. A lot of you were scared. And that's what's holding you back. And you're stuck because you keep a safety net for your old life. So it's time to burn the plow. No more negotiating, no more halfway obedience, no more half-assing what you're doing, no half in, half out. And you know what? Sometimes that includes, or you have to make a decision to be honest with yourself, that maybe this thing that you thought that you wanted to chase isn't for you. And that's okay too. There was a post I shared a week or two ago. You know, it's kind of hypocritical, I think, of Gary Vee to throw this out, because a lot of this culture that we're seeing and this glorifying of entrepreneurship and not really telling people the truth of how hard it is and how difficult it is, um, has left people struggling quite a bit, because they thought that this thing was easy and they were just going to slap their name on something and everybody was going to run to support them, or they'd be able to hustle their way to the top. And that's just, a lot of times that's not the case. Or you do go build the business and grind your face into the dirt and you make it work, but every other area of your life suffers. Your health suffers, you lose your family, friendships, and yeah, you've got a business, but you're incredibly unhappy. So the reality is, a lot of people would be a lot happier making $75,000, $80,000, $90,000 in a 9-to-5 job with benefits, that they could just work their 9-to-5 and leave work at work and not have to bring it home with them. That's not the entrepreneurial life. It's not. We're 24/7 all the time, even whenever the business isn't open. Your mind never comes off of it. It is so impossible to detach from it. And there are people who have scaled their business to the point that they can, and they don't really work in their business anymore, and they have operators doing that. That's not the case for a lot of people. Definitely not the case for me or the majority of people in my circle. They take their kids to Disneyland, the phone's got to be on. They're taking sales calls, they're taking calls from employees. So you really have to evaluate, is that the kind of life you want? And then, is your family on board with it? Because that's gonna take sacrifice from everybody, not just you. Everyone in your family is gonna sacrifice for you. So that's the decision it starts with. Is this a journey that you want to take? And then whenever you make that decision, or if you make that decision, and the answer to that is yes, you have to go all in. You have to burn the boats. Or in Elisha's case, kill his ox, eat him, and cook him with his plow. So now he's got no other choice. So I encourage you today, and over the weekend, take a good hard look at your life. Take a good hard look at the decisions that you need to make. If this business that you're pursuing is what you want, it's time to burn the boats. But it could also be time to burn the business and go back to living a 9-to-5 life and a cushy salary. Stop chasing this dream because culture tells you that it's a cool thing to do, or because you get to put CEO or founder, whatever, on your social media titles, which is also silly. But I think it's time for a real hard look in the mirror for a lot of people. Hey, and real quick, if you are a Christian entrepreneur, I want to invite you to our Zoom call, our Unleashed Weekly Live call, 5 p.m. Pacific time starting this coming week, because we do have time change. So it's going to be 5 p.m. Pacific time Wednesday night. You can go to unleashedtrainings.com. We'll take you right to the Zoom room at 5 p.m. PST. All right, we would love to see you there. Last week, God has multiplied this group and done some absolutely amazing things. We started this thing 4 weeks ago. We had 5 people. This past Wednesday night, there were 60 on there consistently. At one point, we were 63 top with the number showing, but I watched people popping in and out. Pretty sure we had over 70 people on the call this past Wednesday night. It was incredible. Absolutely incredible. We worshiped, we prayed, we talked sales, we talked marketing, we talked for 20 minutes about this, had some great feedback from those in the group. It's an amazing community that God is pouring into and building and watching people grow. So if you're looking for a community like that, every Wednesday night, 5 p.m. PST moving forward. Okay, 5 p.m. PST. Unleashedtrainings.com. You'll see me posting about it on the profiles and stuff too. So if you need the link again, just watch out before Wednesday. It'll get posted again. But you guys have a great Halloween tonight. Have a great weekend. See you next week.